Okay, everybody. Well, today on Big Daddy and Friends, it's, I don't know. I'm speechless because this is such an honor. It's a thrill. And I'm sure he probably thinks the way I am. How did I end up getting a microphone and a camera crew to film something like this? But to all the fans, everyone watching and listening, let's welcome Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs. Hey, Spags.
Hey, how we doing, Big Daddy? I love seeing you sitting in the big chair there with all the glamour in the background. You're the best, buddy.
Well, I got some of your boys in that background over there. OC, Dre, and Tuck, and
yeah.
So you can never forget those guys.
Never.
So anyway, listen, it's Super Bowl week. You're defending Super Bowl champions, and how's it feel?
Well, I can tell you, it's a little bit humbling, Big Daddy. Listen, I'm blessed to be with a great organization, work for a great head coach. We got a bunch of good players around us. We found a way to scratch and crawl through really a tough fall. I mean, everybody's going through it. You're back there in New York, and the world's going through this whole COVID thing. And we're really proud of our guys and the way they've handled it. And to be back in this game is a real exciting pleasure.
Yeah, it's it's funny. Before we got into this, we always tell the fans and the viewers and listeners how we met. So it's our relationship goes back to your days at the Giants, and then I remember we went. I was a part of that whole 2007 run.
Absolutely.
Where obviously I went to every game, home and away, and then all of a sudden, here you and I are celebrating in 30 below.
In Green Bay.
I still have that picture somebody took of us where we're both like bundled up to the max, and off we go.
I'll tell you what, Big Daddy, I remember about that day. So it was as cold as it was, and it was one of the first and only games I actually wore a hat, like a stocking hat. And so even as cold as it was, you sweat underneath all of that. I remember when the game ended and I'm looking around trying to celebrate. Of course, it's an away game. It's not home, right? So there's no fans storming the field. But I took my hat off for 5 seconds, and my ears felt like they were going to fall off from the cold. I mean, it was so frigid. And I remember saying, I'm going in the locker room. I was going to stay out there and enjoy it a little bit. But that's when I saw you, and it was a great memory. And think about it, Big Daddy. It's almost 13 years or something since that happened. And I'm sure glad we were able to meet each other in 2007 and keep that relationship to now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems like it was yesterday, but, time goes by, and I've had the good fortune of following you everywhere you've been. And
you've been right there.
And obviously, having a relationship with your beautiful wife, Maria, who's my favorite person on the planet, and cook.
She's the best. She's the best.
And I was explaining before we got on that Andy Reid and I were talking about Maria's cooking, and I told him the story about how she fed me before one of the Giants games. And I told him, I said, Andy, I found myself doing laps around the field during pregame, because I couldn't breathe from all the food that I had eaten.
But I do know this, though. As much as you could breathe, you did show up there the following week, though.
Yes, I did. I was not shy about being a fan of Maria's cooking and all that.
Yeah, but, she enjoys making you guys feel good.
No, I mean, and that's the one thing I was chatting with OC about, how he did in his interview and one of his stories about how she made cookies every Friday.
They love the banana pudding.
Yeah.
I still tell the story, Big Daddy, of after we won the Super Bowl that year. And of course, everybody's all over the field, and I'm looking for Maria, and I think she bumped into Antonio Pierce first. And Antonio just engulfed her with a hug, and he kept saying, "It was the banana pudding. It was the banana pudding." He loved that. I mean, he remembered it too. It was. But what's nice about that, Big Daddy, is that, listen, it gives Maria a chance to be a part of it and be a part of the unit and the guys, and she loves doing it. We do it here a little bit in Kansas City. The hard part this year was because of COVID and all the restrictions and all the protocols, you couldn't bring a lot of things in. So we didn't get to do it nearly as much as we had done, like we had done in New York, but it's still fun.
And I had to barter one day, to try that banana bread pudding because or banana whatever it was, banana pudding.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to flip the pizza that I was bringing in on Fridays.
You did. They would hit the banana pudding before your pizza would get there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember I had told Strahan, I said, listen, I got to get in on that because I keep hearing about how great it is. He's like, oh, Daddy, you're an old lineman, man. Come on, man. I'm like, listen, I'll swap a pie just for a little cupful. I don't need a lot. I just want to say at least I had a taste because I know how great.
Daddy, they weren't sharing that stuff with anybody. I remember the old linemen used to try to sneak in the defensive unit meeting and steal some of the banana pudding and the stuff that she would make. And Antonio would put a lockdown on that. But every once in a while, listen, you need old linemen when you're on defense, right? The old linemen help you out because they control the football.
No, absolutely. So
we took care of them when we could.
No, that's the one thing. Kindness and generosity runs deep in both you and Maria, so that's great. No, and I know, the one thing that is very close to her heart is helping so many kids.
Yeah.
I know everyone wants to always talk football and sports and whatnot, but look, I'm a fond believer in giving back. Obviously, you've been to, my golf outing, which is coming back this year.
And I'm in.
We're in.
Down.
So, and also my football camp and all the things that my brother Jimmy and I, we want to give back to, especially in the football side of it, because football in Long Island has disappeared.
Really?
Yeah, it's really Long Island is now a lacrosse and soccer thing.
Yeah.
And, listen, there's been, so many great people that have come out of Long Island related to football. So we kind of want to give back and bring things like when we have you and all these other guys that give time up to come and coach and give experiences and lecture kids. It's important. It's
always happy to do it, Big Daddy. You do some special things there, and the people are lucky to have you. And I think you can. I know that you'll continue to do that. I know this year was a little bit different, I'm sure, with the COVID, because everything got cut back. And unfortunately for young people, they don't get the pleasure of, experiencing what you would give the people, whether it was a camp or whether it was a golf outing. But yeah, both you and Maria have big hearts for children. I have the same, and we're always looking for opportunities to help young kids.
Yeah, and it's funny. I always try to put aside clothes for her to give to the kids, because I know it's a big thing. And you know what? You're going to laugh. I've dropped about 65 pounds.
I can see it.
So this is huge. So I tell Maria, I said, listen, I'm going to give you some outfits. They may be a tenth on somebody, but at least, it's clothing and it's quality clothing. It's not like I'm giving out rags or.
No, she always appreciates that. And trust me, whatever you give her, she's sharing with people and they're enjoying it. I know that.
No, I know. I definitely know that. So anyway, so here you are. You're on your way to your second Super Bowl and you're defending a title. Obviously, I'm always behind you, and I have no problems being public about it. I did it last year. And it was funny when I was doing Fox and Friends, on purpose. I had helmets brought in. I had Rydell ship them in, and I had one made for the set. And then obviously I had the Chiefs and the Niner helmet
for the game
last year for the game.
Yeah.
Well, the morning of the game, before I go on, one of the guys said to me, "Big Daddy, you've had a bad run on picking winners. So I can't wait to hear what your choice is today." And I said, and I believe I sent Maria the link, I said, I'm going with the Chiefs for two reasons. Spags, Andy Reid. There's about 3 or 4 other names I could throw in there, but those are the two.
That's awesome.
And everyone looked at me like, boy, Big Daddy, your streaks is not coming to an end today. And I'm like, well, look, I'm going, this is what I'm doing. That's why I got this helmet in front of me. And I'm going to do the same thing on Sunday.
That's awesome.
I actually got your equipment staff to send me a Chiefs sweatshirt
to be able to do it.
to be able to do
Yeah.
it and really amp it up.
Yeah, they're
So,
great. We appreciate your loyalty, Big Daddy. You know that works both ways.
No, I know that. And you know what? Listen, it all. Andy and I, we when we did our interview, we talked about how him and I first met.
Yeah,
And I had the Big Daddy clothing line back in the
way back when we were in Philadelphia.
yeah, when you were in Philly,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I'm like, what is this Andy Reid guy sending his whole family over to the house to the warehouse, and Hollis Thomas and everybody was loading up. I'm like, all right, okay,
Whatever works. Whatever works.
free marketing, whatever works. I it didn't bother me.
Yeah, you're generous about that, which is a great thing.
Yeah, well, you know what? You can never. I always tell people you can never forget where you came from, and it's always the guys that, you know, as a kid picking up socks and jocks and carrying helmets for players and all those things. You know, I wear the swoosh here.
Yeah.
And, you know, our favorite guy, Mike Newsom.
Yes.
Mikey.
Love Mike.
Yeah, Mike is the best. He's a brother to me, and he's a guy that started as a ball boy.
How about that?
And, you know, 35 years ago. And now look at him. You know, he's one of the most respected guys in football with Nike.
Yeah.
And that's how things work. People elevate, you know, whether it's in football, like you're a coach, you're a GA, all of a sudden you become an assistant, then you become a coordinator, and you're a head guy. It's the same. I think it's the same formula, and I believe in that a lot.
Yeah, and the challenge now, Big Daddy, is as you do, is it's to help the younger guys along the way now, the guys that were where you and I were at one point, mentor and help them, lead them that way like other people did for us.
Yeah, it's and I do it now. It's funny. I never thought I would be a guest speaker, but I started speaking at the Wharton Business School. So I spoke there twice, and I joked around with the students. I said, listen, I wouldn't be coming in the front door if I wasn't a guest speaker, because normally I'd be coming in the back door. I wouldn't be smart enough to get in here. I'd be carrying the luggage or the bag or furniture in here.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they got a big kick out of it, but that was like a way to break the ice.
Sure.
You know, and then I've been speaking at local schools where they've asked me to come in and kind of discuss, you know, where I've come from, you know, being a Long Island guy, because a lot of the schools are here.
Yeah.
And you know, sharing stories. And it's been fun. It's interesting, and it's also a way to give back, because I think sometimes people, you know, they look at you differently because you have access. You know, you have the relationships. And I would say, look, I try to share whatever I have. I'm not a selfish person, whether it's personal, business-wise, my family, whatever it is. If I can help you and it makes sense, then I'll do it, you know.
That's what makes you Big Daddy. That's what makes you Big Daddy. That's why you got that name. Well, we appreciate you.
You know, he actually asked me, Andy, how that nickname started.
Yeah.
And, you know, I told him, I said, look, a guy that was 6'9", 350 at the time, he told me I was Big Daddy. And I looked up at him and I said, whatever you want me to be, I'll be.
Call me whatever you want, right?
Yeah, call me whatever you want, as long as it's nothing curse-wise and
yeah, exactly,
or bad. But
well, I think it fits you well.
Yeah, I think it's the. You know what? A big joke was John Mara back in the day would never call me that. He always would call me Rich. But obviously, in what happened was in 2007.
Yeah.
He came around and he said to me, Big Daddy, and I was kind of taken aback because I'd never heard him say that.
Yeah.
And then I think in 2011, when the Giants won again, I think he thought I was crazy because the pizza tradition that we had when you were there back in the day.
Yeah.
We flew the pizza into Indianapolis on that flight.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. And he said, he looked at me and he shook his head and he said to me, he goes, Big Daddy, I think you're crazy. And I said to him, well, look at all these guys. Nobody here thinks I'm crazy. And Steve Tisch is eating it too. So
yeah, they were enjoying it, I'm sure.
Everybody's enjoying it and whatnot. But anyway, I got to say, I'm so happy for you.
I appreciate it.
I hope you pull it off this weekend. And then I hope you get back in the saddle and give that head coaching thing another run.
Well, that'd be a great thing. It'd be certainly embrace it. But I will tell you this, Big Daddy, if it doesn't happen, I'm a blessed man either way. I got a great job and great friends like you. So we'll see what happens with the future holds. Right now, I'm just worried about trying to stop that guy, number 12. That's a pretty good task right now. We'll worry about that.
No, listen, you've had a good you've done okay against my boy there at 1-2.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, listen, I'd like to think all that helps in the next game, but it doesn't. It's a whole new challenge, and he's got some weapons there, and they're kind of listen. They got hit in a little bit of groove. Great chemistry. Be a great challenge for us.
Well, again, I'm cheering for you. So
Appreciate it.
the one thing that we ask all the guests that come on is now I'm going to ask you now we're going to reverse roles. You're going to ask me a question, and I'm going to try to answer it as best as I can.
Well, let's go right to you. You've been pretty impressive with the 65 pounds that you lost. I want to know how you did it.
Well, I get out of bed every morning at 6 a.m. and I am on the elliptical. I started doing it for a half an hour. I worked my way up to an hour a day.
That's awesome.
And then I found that to be easy, not super easy, but I was getting accustomed to it.
Yeah.
So I ended up starting to get on the stair mill, which is that stairs that goes up.
You got it at the house, or do you have go?
No, I go to the gym. Go to the gym.
Got you.
And you either have to walk on that thing or you fall off. So,
so it keeps you going.
It keeps you going. I've gotten up to 35 minutes on that every day. Plus, no Umbertos, no bagels, the diet is the key.
That's key.
I never, ever in my life thought that those words would come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That I'd be dieting. And so I would have to cheat on my diet to eat Maria's food. But you know what? That's more cheating. So I would.
Yeah, you gotta listen. You gotta reward yourself every once in a while when you work hard. You do.
No, I get that, and I will, especially when I see her. I told her in the off season.
Save it for those moments, right?
Yeah, I told her I'm going to see her in the off season, and hopefully you'll be back at the same time. We'll all connect, and
we'll get back there.
Do that. So, Steve, again, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, you're one of my dear friends, and it's an honor and privilege to have you on. And again, I'm cheering for you. So
thank you, Big Daddy.
To all the fans, the viewers, and listeners out there, make sure you watch the game on Sunday. Cheer for Coach Spags. And until next time, I'll see everybody real soon. And Steve, thank you again, my man. I love you.
My pleasure, man. Look forward to seeing you again, buddy.
Absolutely.